All right, Schlockmeister fans, here's one I haven't seen before. It's called Corky. Let's check it out. Robert Blake. Meet Corky Curtis, Robert Blake, his friend Billy, played by Christopher Connolly, and Charlotte Rampling plays his wife.
How you doing back there, daughter?
Doing just fine.
Good.
Well, he likes to race stock cars. However, it doesn't stop him from drag racing in the streets either. He's kind of well liked by the kids in the neighborhood.
Nothing.
This is his boss, who sponsors him.
Oh, now don't start over.
Wait, listen, you've been in 4 races with me. That one or what? Only came in once. You beat up that car like it was a 34 Ford.
He doesn't want him racing for him anymore.
Out of that car. I should have told you before, but...
Randy, you can't drive. You know that. Your leg all stove up from that accident, you ain't no kind of shape to drive.
I'm not in...
Well, his boss, Randy, he still works for him, but he's not happy that another guy is going to drive, so he finds somebody else to sponsor him. It looks like he's going to sabotage Steve's car. Or actually, he's going to rig his own to crash. And he goes after Steve, the new driver. That's what he did to his own car, so that would happen. And he takes Steve out of the race and puts him in the hospital.
It ain't my fault anyway. Hey, Doc, what do you think? Gonna be all right?
Oh no, until we get him to the hospital.
Good mother, you bust that hood on purpose. You're fired. If I see you again, I just might kill you.
You can't just go like this.
Then I'm gonna send you some money. You gonna be all right?
With no job, he decides to up and leave his wife and kid.
Corky?
And maybe he can make some money on the racing circuit somewhere else. First things first, go pick up his buddy Billy. And they're off to Atlanta. Well, as luck would have it, he actually wins a race. It's a small purse he wins, but it's enough to keep him going for a little while. But of course, he blows it on booze and whatever else. And he meets a girl. Corky's wife goes to his former boss.
I was wondering, have you seen Corky?
No.
Randy takes pity on her and says he owes her some back pay for Corky.
They're his friends.
He's even going to give her a job.
You know, anybody who gets fired gets 2 weeks severance pay.
Corky continues to race, but his good luck runs out.
You're a good businessman.
Running out of money, he starts selling things off of the car, including some tires, for $8. Corky's got a lot of pent-up anger in him, and at one point he takes it out on Billy. That's the end of their friendship. He's even got to sell a trophy that he won.
Plain and fancy 40K, personally presented by Marilyn Monroe. It ain't worth no more than 50 cents to me.
He's got a photo of himself and Richard Petty from a race he won years earlier. So he tries to meet Richard Petty. Doesn't work.
Richard says say howdy and wish you the best of luck. I'm afraid he doesn't remember you, son. See now.
This guy decides to help him, though.
There's this little track outside of town. Runs jalopies during the summer. I'll be glad to get you an introduction. But no guarantee you'll get a ride.
Fortunately, he pays just a few dollars less than what he was making back home. He doesn't take the job. Instead, he just drives off. And he falls asleep and runs his car off the road. Sees a couple of young boys skinny dip and he decides, you know what? I'm gonna join him. He keeps his underwear on though. But the old boy's older brother thinks something's a little fishy about a grown man swimming with two naked boys. For the record, it was totally innocent. He chases him off and doesn't even let him get his pants. Crying and desperate, not knowing what to do, he decides to just go back home. He does not get a warm welcome.
If you're staying,
Say what?
I can't stay. The lawyer told me not to.
Corky learns that she has a job with Randy and thinks she's cheating on him.
Nursery school. And for them new trays. And for the washing in the kitchen.
He goes down to Randy's place with the intent to kill him. It's really noisy there. He shoots, but misses Randy, but then he shot one of his employees instead. And he's not done shooting employees. He ends up driving onto a racetrack where the cops get him. Corky doesn't surrender. He tries to get out of there, but they pull him out, and as he's dying, his last thoughts are that he's daydreaming again of better days.
Somewhere in this world, is there a shelter from the cold?
All right, let's talk about Corky. This is a movie that, to my knowledge, was never released on VHS. And I had a bootleg VHS copy of it, although I never actually watched it. I had it in my possession. I'm not sure where I picked it up, but I got it, and I just never got around to watching it. And I didn't get around to watching it until today. I've had it in my collection for probably 20 years, or close to 20 years, but I got the DVD from the Warner Brothers Archive collection here, and that's where I finally watched the movie. And you know what? It's a pretty good movie, actually. It stars Robert Blake as Corky Curtis. He is a wannabe stock car racer, that sort of thing. He's small time. He's not he's not on the Atlanta Speedway or Daytona or anything like that. He's local things, county racetracks, that sort of thing. He has a little bit of success. He's more of a mechanic and part-time racer. He wants to be a great racer, but he just hasn't had a string of good luck. He tends to crash some of his cars, cause damage to them, doesn't finish a lot of them. It is what it is. So he has a wife. They mentioned, I thought he said 2 kids at one point, but I think I only saw 1 in this film. He's married to Charlotte Rampling, and his best friend is Billy, played by Christopher Connolly. Well, his boss, who he works as a mechanic, and his boss also sponsors him in his races, says, I don't want you driving my cars anymore. You're just not good enough. So he's going to have Steve, this other guy, drive. Well, Corky's mad about that. So he can find somebody else to sponsor him, and then he ends up crashing into Steve on the racetrack. He did it on purpose to take Steve out. Well, his boss, Randy, is really pissed at that. He says, you did that on purpose. You're fired. So at this point, Corky's out of money. He doesn't know what to do. He decides, I'm going to leave town. I'm going to go grab my buddy Billy. I'm going to leave my wife and kid, and I'm going to go to Atlanta and just try to race other places. And he does, and he actually wins one of his races there and gets a little bit of a purse. Not a big one, but he blows it all, on booze and whatever else. He's got a lot of rage in him, and eventually he turns on his friend Billy, punches him, and then he's by himself. He tries to go to some speedway somewhere and meet Richard Petty, fails to do that, but the guy takes pity on him and says, look, I can get you a job doing this or that, but it paid a little bit less than what he was making with Randy back home, so he was a little discouraged by that. He ends up taking off again. He falls asleep at the wheel, drives his car off the road, does a lot more damage to it. Ends up he doesn't skinny dip. He sees two boys skinny dipping. He decides to join them, all in fun. He wasn't doing anything nasty to them. But their big brother finds them and takes him out at gunpoint and forces him to drive away in just his underwear. So he ends up going back home. Doesn't know what else to do. But when he gets home, he doesn't get a warm reception from his wife. His wife tells him that he's been gone, I think, several weeks at this point. She says, I've got a lawyer, I'm getting a divorce, going back to school. Oh, by the way, I have a job working for Randy. Of course, Corky accuses her of cheating on him with Randy, which isn't the case, actually. But he decides to get even with Randy. He goes out and he's going to try to shoot him and kill him. He ends up shooting two of his employees, though, and Randy does not get shot. Cops chase him down onto the speedway, actually. He crashes his car, and as he's dying, they pull him out, and he just kind of, the last thoughts in his head are him, being a famous race car driver. And that's how our movie ends. So there you go. That is Corky. Corky's coming, smell the rubber burn, hear the women scream. I don't know if it was quite like that tagline says, but this was a pretty good movie. This is a nice little drama, a very short film, 88 minutes long, but it was well done. I really enjoyed this movie. I wish I would have watched it a long time ago. I'm probably going to watch this one again. Rated PG, no nudity in it. But yeah, it's a pretty decent drama. It almost seems like this is probably based on a book, though it probably wasn't, but I don't know. It just kind of seemed that way. I think of other like angst-ridden movies like this from the early 70s, like Rabbit Run with the actor's name escapes me there, but whatever. So anyway, that is Corky. You can get this DVD, like I said, from the archive collection. I will leave a link to Amazon down below if you're curious to watch it, and you should. It's a pretty good movie. Check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about Corky. If you've seen this gem, watch it. Bye.